o'clock, this meeting is called to order. All right, roll call, Yvonne Harper.
Roger.
Ken Lanier. It's a good job, Holley.
Ian's out of town, so the meeting was properly noticed. All right. As far as the agenda, I need to make a motion to amend the agenda for item 9J to nominate a board member for the UPA. UPA, United Peninsula Association, UPA. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Some minutes to approve, GM report. Also reports?
Nothing right now, I'm trying to do. Okay.
Right, no committee reports, no unfinished business to the pool lift. The motion was to allocate up to $10,000 to go towards the pool lift to be installed after the pool deck repair. All in favor?
I have a couple of things I wanted to say about
Okay.
that. I did a little more research on that, and I liked the looks of this one that Yvonne found. This splash pool lift is essentially what you call semi-port. In other words, there's a stainless steel sleeve that goes in concrete. We could get an additional sleeve, put one in each, take it out when we redo the pool deck.
What was the weight on that one?
It's about 200 and something pounds.
No, what's the capacity? Is it 400 or 500? 400.
But this is one you could actually move around, and they have a caddy. It looks way overpriced. I don't know if you looked at it or not. It looks like an umbrella store. And I bet we could get a hand truck, something a little more rugged, and have it adapted. Anyway, that looks like a good one. I just wanted to add that.
So you're saying that what we could do with that one is put sleeve on the family pool, and then one on the other pool, so when one pool shut down, we can move it over.
Right.
That's cool. That's good.
One lift with both.
That's good.
And then it also, you can, in case of a storm,
Yeah, pull it out.
yeah, you can take it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's 200, it weighs a couple of hundred pounds, 250 pounds, something like that. So it isn't something you'd want to, 275. It isn't something you'd want to just move often, but it would give us an
Yes. What's the price of that?
$5 grand. The caddy is 4 1/4, cover 175.
It's okay.
Armrest assembly, we might want that. Yeah, so if it was out in the weather, you know, if it wasn't needed, we could keep it
So
going.
the original motion was 10,000, so I mean.
Yeah, we're good with that, so did we get a second on
Because that
it?
would
Well,
be,
we don't need it, it's already been motion
Oh,
second,
okay.
that's not changing.
because we'd have to do installation. After that,
Yeah, oh yeah, installation would, because it's battery operated, installation would only be put the sleeve in.
And we did talk, April and I, about the concrete and with regards to this, and then it's further down, but the shading area, because the concrete will need to be repaired. You know, that's something that she was going to just look into pricing for the area around the pool and then that area as well, so that will be done prior to that, to make sure it's solid. Especially around the lap pool. All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, the key, gate and keypad, the motion was to move this to Thursday pending getting companies out here as soon as possible, so Rod and April were able to meet with the, company today, so do you have more?
Company.
Company?
When Christina called, we had one company in Tallahassee, one company in Fort Walton Beach. The Tallahassee guys, when she called, essentially said, we don't have anybody local. And I kind of felt like for a $15,000 job, I could send somebody over. But we were able to meet with Dave from DLI, and we also had our paving contractor and the engineer here, as well as April, so that we could discuss how to dovetail these projects together, so that we're not cutting up a new pavement, because I really don't want to do that. So we got that worked out. I would recommend that we award the contract to DLI. Their bid is $14,500.
Are you making a motion
I'm making a motion,
or? Okay.
but I want to give you a little information. I move that we award the contract to DLI. That's my motion.
To approve DLI
Second.
and,
Going seconded. Now, the gate will be custom built for our needs. It's not something you can buy off the shelf. And what we will do, we spoke with him today, is take our old keypad unit and put it on the inside. So not only will there be a road loop, but if somebody's on a bicycle or on foot, they can use their swipe card and punch in the combination, still get out.
That's good.
we make 911 or something or something.
You don't want to do that, everybody knows that.
But if they were on the inside of the fence, it wouldn't matter.
Right, well,
Does it have to have a key to get in?
I don't know if you can program them differently.
Oh.
Now, there's an additional $2,850 for a connection, a phone connection to the office here, so that they can reprogram it from the office without having to go down there and redo it every Friday. And if they need to, they can open the gate from the office.
And programming gate cards.
Right, and program the gate code. So that would be,
Is there a way to get a camera out there, so if they need to open it, they
No.
can see? Does it include that?
no, it does include that, but we can do that later. That's not dependent on the payment. So that would be 16, 17, 350. So
Is that reserved?
that's an
Yes.
allocation, yeah.
Yes, and it was for replacement for this year.
Okay.
That reserve line item is 35,000, so we're
So
under.
we're well under that.
Two points that Rod brought up today. One was that you didn't see on the proposal the new sensor. He said it's included because they have to quote it that way. So that's included. I know that you guys were looking at the difference, and one it said it and one didn't say it. He said it's mandatory, so it is included. He was gonna send one with some detail, so we felt comfortable, but he said that everybody is mandated to do that.
And we're okay, Rod, with the asphalt?
Yeah. They're gonna work, he can work with the contractor and either get it in before they pave, or once they strip the pavement off, put it down.
Was this 17,350 a hard cost, or is it variable based on?
Unless something changed, we changed a few little things, and we were gonna get another bid, so I would recommend probably, either 18 or 19.
I don't think we'll be that high, but.
I don't think it will either, I don't think it'll change. So let's make it,
Like an 18 is easy.
18, in case there's a little extra or something.
So motion to approve DLI for 18,000.
Yeah, from reserve. And that was
Yeah, the other thing is that if the power goes out, the gate actually operates on 24-volt battery. So you can still get out, and it will also work the keypads. So you can get out if you got RVers in there and the power's out.
So all in favor? Aye. The next item is the fire suppression, there's no action, shade system for kiddie pool, motion was to table until we have further information on cost, on the total cost. And
I
then,
think part of our issue was we missed that last page that included a lot of that table.
the paving. So I think this kind of ties into resurfacing or repaving that area up there, and then we can tie both the, chairlift and then the shade.
The pool deck and all that in one.
Yeah. So, once we get like the total price, if we just come back with the total price for the paving, plus the chairlift, and then the shading, and then we'll have the total that we're looking at.
Let me ask you this, since we talked about this, what was presented was very commercial grade, obviously, kind of more high end. Obviously, Rod and I talked also, there's some really good sunshade sales, there's a place in Fort Walton, which we all know, that are significantly less in cost, if we want to look at maybe a simpler system to start, and then we're looking at a lot less than.
And they're pretty attractive, they're pretty colorful.
So
As
that's
long
up
as
to you.
as long as the quality is well, we're not going to replace it every year, because
Right.
then, if you spend
Right.
more for quality, then you're not having to spend more along the way, type of thing. So as long as it, can last.
Well, we looked at warranty and what the materials made out of, obviously, what it can withstand in storm, all those kind of things.
And something that we can take down in
Yes.
case in the event of a
Right.
storm, and then
Yeah.
also during the winter when there's really no need for it, you can take it down.
Okay.
And then that would prolong the life of it.
I like looking at the sales.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the
Yeah,
original
they
motion
put
will
them
table
up in
until we get some more
turnovers,
information,
so
stands, so there's no action tonight.
Right. Okay, the pool furniture, there's no action. Voting and usage rights for non-payment. I'm going to amend the motion to read, approve suspending voting and usage rights of homeowners who have not paid as of 3/31/2016, effective 4/1/2016. All voting and usage rights will be suspended pending until accounts are made current.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. All right, Stormwater Committee, the motion was to stand up the Stormwater Committee with Tom Beckman as the chair. All in favor? All right, the nominating committee, I talked to Bob Hutchinson, and he agreed to act as the chair, and then that way we can go out with an email just asking for applications to be on the board or be on that committee. So I make a motion to nominate Bob Hutchinson as the chair of the nominating committee. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right, the MSBU petition to pave Camden, we were to table this to today. So I like the idea that Ron had with moving to only have the board get involved if it's a break even, not break even, if there's a tie, if you will, and it comes down to the board, then we would bring it back.
Would that be a yes or a no if it's a tie?
Well,
That would be a vote then.
yeah, we have to.
You haven't addressed that yet?
What's that?
You haven't addressed whether you inclined to do it or not?
Well, we did discuss on Tuesday, one of the issues that we have to look at, there's a couple of issues. First, we need to make sure, we need to get with, there's several properties here, we need to get with our attorney, Bordelon attorney, who deals with the Williams, because they have property, and then we've got property in trust, so we need to get clarification on that. And then also, as Rod pointed out, if we were to make a decision yes or no, in essence, because we would, for example, if we said yes, the association would be paying that assessment, meaning everybody in Holley by the Sea would be
Well,
paying.
county's already made a decision, any lot you hold in trust, you will be responsible for, in their opinion, so you're gonna get your legal opinion on that. However, it's not the association, all the members that live on Camden Drive, it's not their fault that you guys own so many lots on Camden. So if you own these lots, you should be responsible if the neighborhood, all the members on Camden are willing to buy the pavement and pay for it themselves. You should say yes, you should support your members and say yes to this.
Yes, I understand that, but we don't just represent the members on Camden. We represent the association, we represent the association as a whole. And because there would be 4 lots that we would be responsible for, we would get 1 vote on the petition, but yet we would be responsible for,
More than 4.
well, there's,
7.
no. From my understanding, and we need to get clarification, there are 17, but 4 are actually, we hold them in trust. The other ones, the Williams hold. So they pay the property tax on those, and so that's where we need to get with Bordelon, because he's been working with this for years. So
Well, not according to the county, but that's for you guys to work
Yes,
out.
but with regards
you're saying
to-
that you represent the other members.
yes,
But the other members should not be involved in this. This is between you and the members on the Camden. They're the ones that are involved.
no,
wrong.
no, just
Why?
skip.
Why am I wrong?
No, because what happens is association funds would be expended, so let's
Right.
just say the minimum of 4 lots. So we would be responsible for 4 assessments for 7 years, or 5, for 7 years. And so that money would be coming from all the members.
Well, that's true.
So an MSBU, if each person who lives on that street would be responsible for 1 assessment, they pay it.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So what we have to look at is, we represent the association as a whole, not just the members who
Well,
live
then,
on
I mean, I
Camden.
totally agree with that. I agree with that. But the thing is that if we get the required votes, you will have to pay the fee. You will have to
Yes.
pay the share. So why not
You're
support,
right.
why not just come right out and support the people on Camden that want this yes vote?
Because right now
Because there
we're
are
taking-
also people on Camden who
One.
do not want to pay that
Four,
assessment.
and the one person.
Then you should have the required number of votes and not need ours.
We need yours. We don't, yours should not be dependent on what the rest of the
But
association
see,
members say.
Yes, I understand. This is. I
That's
know-
your personal opinion, and
No,
if
no,
your personal
wait,
opinion,
stop,
you should
stop.
be neutral here.
Stop.
I am neutral.
You're not
That's why
neutral.
we're
You
not
haven't been
gonna-
neutral.
that's
You
why we're
haven't
not
been
gonna
neutral.
allow it.
Stop, hang on a second, Okay. I understand, especially Patricia, you guys have spent a lot of work on this.
Very much, and you all throw
Okay.
roadblocks, the
Sir.
county throw roadblocks,
Sir.
you throw roadblocks.
Excuse, sir,
I hear you, go ahead.
let me finish, okay? We're not throwing up a roadblock, because although there would
Then
be.
give us a yes vote.
Are you going to let me speak?
Go ahead,
Okay, because you have yet to let me get a sentence out, and that's
go ahead.
a little rude. Okay,
I'm sorry.
so we would be responsible for 4.
Right.
We have 1 petition, or 1 vote. So our stance right now is neutral, because if we say yes, that's not a neutral stance. If we say no, that's not a neutral stance. So our position right now is to allow the rest of the signatures, and if it comes down to, we are the 1 signature that would make it to the 60%, then we will make 66%, then we will make the decision at that time.
Yeah, but see,
But
you're not
if you
committing either way though, that's
if
what
you were-
irritates me. You're not committing. You're just saying
No.
if, and
No,
then you
we're
still
not.
just say no.
No, we're not going to commit right now, you're right, we're not making a commitment
right.
right now. If that happens, then we will decide and make that commitment, yes or no. If you get the 66, then it's a mute issue with us, as far as
Well, it is,
deciding.
but the problem here
It's
is
not a mute issue.
you got 2 members on here that already voiced their opinions. I like to speed down this road, so I don't wanna see stop signs, I don't wanna
Yes.
see it paved. That's their opinion.
No.
They should be
didn't-
neutral.
I never
over
drive
this.
on that road.
They
Yes, you
never-
said you did.
They never
What?
said they never said they wanted or supported speeding or anything like that. And this board as a whole, all 5 of us did agree to support adding stop signs. And to that point, I've talked to Patricia. We had a county commissioner who said no. I have asked that that item go before the full board of county commissioners. So please don't think that I am not advocating on behalf of the people who live on Camden. And I can tell you how many times I have driven on Camden, twice. And that's been in the last 6 months as a board member. So
Yeah.
I personally have no vested interest on what happens on Camden. but I am going to bat and advocating on behalf, especially with the stop signs, for those individuals on Camden. So please don't think
Okay.
that we're
All right.
not.
All right,
And
I'll take that for
this-
face value there. I
well,
appreciate that.
You can take it at face value or not. I mean, I can show
I
you
am
the
taking it as
emails.
face value, I do appreciate it, but you
Well,
all,
I can provide
you
you
all
the
don't live
supporting
on
documents
Camden
if you
Road,
want.
and you don't experience every Friday and Saturday night is a dirt track racetrack. Every yay-hoo in them trailer parks come down with their big truck and tires, and they spin out in their yards, they spin out, they cause property damage, and everybody just wants to say, oh, we just ignore it. As long as it's not happening in your front yard, you know, nobody seems to care. But it's, come on down, come on down tomorrow
That's
night,
not-
and
sir,
everybody
that's not
gets
I'm
true.
a block away. I live on Fairmont, right at the end where Camden is.
Yeah, and don't you hear it?
No,
What?
quite frankly, I don't.
Well,
Sorry.
I'm sorry, you can't hear it. It happens.
I can't, as
It
a
happens
matter of
every
fact,
Friday night and
pointing that
Saturday
out.
night. They're just ripping it up.
I'm sorry that you think we don't care, but that is not the case, and I'm sure Patricia can tell you otherwise.
She'll
with
tell you
regards-
it is the case.
Well, if she thinks that I don't care and this board doesn't care.
I'm not saying you don't care, I'm just
then-
saying it's the case. They're ripping it up every Saturday. and
No,
Sunday.
I'm not arguing that point. I agree with you. I was raised in the country and I know what people do on dirt roads. Trust me. I know that full well. You know, used to listen to my mom like go crazy every time after it rained because we had to drive on rutted roads.
I
The
know,
point
having
is,
fun, I know that.
the point is this. If it gets to that point, we will then make a decision, okay? And they will have to decide for themselves. There are 5 members on their board. If 3 others decide yes and they're outvoted, so be it. But that's what we're gonna do right now, okay? And I support Patricia's effort to go and get the signatures. I know it's a lot of work. I know you have to send it out to
I have
every
some figures here.
assessment.
Just disappointing.
There are 30 homes with owners of those homes on Camden. I have 60% of those homes. 9 or no votes. The one that may be on social media is not even on the deed. So, yes, we acknowledge their no vote, fine, we moved on, we need to move on too.
So there's 26 yeses and 4 noes?
There is 18 yeses of the 30 homes that have homeowners in them. So that's 60% of the actual homes on the street. 9 are no votes, 3 are undecided. Of the 66% that I need of the 45 parcel owners, which is 30, I have 70% of that,
So how many parcel owners do you have?
total of 21,
And what is the total?
30. You need, I need 30.
No, you have 21. How many of the 21 are yeses?
All. So that's 70% of the 45 parcels.
Okay, so how many total, so you've got 75,
45 parcels.
no, so you've got 30 homes, 45 parcels, so there are 75 total.
Total of 45.
30
Of the 45 parcels, 30 people have a structure.
Gotcha, okay.
And of those 30 homes, 60% of the homeowners want this. With only 9 no votes.
So how many signatures are you lacking to reach the total 66?
9.
You're lacking.
However, if the rules hadn't changed, with the Santa Rosa County at December 15, I would have it.
They changed it to 66% just recently.
And then they
Yes.
changed that it's not only Santa Rosa County homeowners, it's the whole world. And that's what I'm dealing with, the whole world owns a piece of Camden.
So you need 9 more, okay. Well,
What's holding us back is the people that are out of town. The absentee owners don't respond. We got one respondent from Puerto Rico, she's all for it. The rest of them aren't responding to us. Overwhelmingly, the people on the road want this to happen. The people that live here want it to happen, but we just can't. The roadblocks that Santa Rosa's thrown up, because we have to get all the out-of-town people, the absentee owners to agree on this. And you can't even get them to respond. And their addresses, you can't even get their addresses. And you can't get hold of these people.
well, I do agree with that because if if it were only the San Jose County as it's been, and you had, you know, the 30 people living here and you had the 66%, the people who live out of town in France and Puerto Rico or wherever, they would still have to pay that assessment on their property tax.
They would, and one
So
of them
I,
is
so I
fine.
do think that they should be allowed to have a say in
You
that.
can't get away with them, that's the problem.
I know it's.
We researched their properties, I've researched to websites to try to track them down.
We found one.
They pay their taxes and their dues here because they
Electronic.
call in and find out what they owe and they send it in, but you have, all your addresses on these people are no good either.
But
So-
they have to have where
Tax
their
records.
property taxes are sent to, there has to be, that was that trim, is that what it's called, a trim notice, it has to go somewhere.
All they
So-
have to do is call in and go
One-
online.
one
All they gotta do is go
member's-
online and
It's
figure
on
out
the
what their
appraiser's
taxes are.
website.
Yeah, but they
Their
still,
address is on the
they
appraiser's
still by
website.
law have to send out those trim notices, so they have to go somewhere.
No, one property the county has not had a correct address for 5 years.
Where are they sending their notices to?
They're being paid, their taxes are being paid, so they're not concerned about it. Another property has not had a correct address for 3 years. What I'd like to tell you, also, the roadblock I got with the roads and bridges and everybody else, San Jose County is, based on the 18 homeowners that said yes, or 21 votes that said yes, there are parcels. And me, as being a petitioner, I went and asked if we could just do those parcels that add up to the 66%. And as the street has been paid in a 2-block section now, why can't we address block and block and block? Which is fine, because I could do 5 of the unpaid blocks by getting the 66% of those 3 segments. The problem is, since I'm the MSBU, if I have my 3 segments here and there's a space empty, that I cannot bring in that other segment to me, because I'm not a parcel owner in that segment that stands alone. So right now, my parcel in front of my house is 2 blocks long. We are lacking 1 vote, 1 piece of property from you to gain our 66% to pay 2 blocks. The county, when I did math, your figure of 5.28 stayed at 5. But the county said no, that requires 6 votes. When I was,
What is the annual assessment going to be per lot
$331.35.
for 7 years? Used to be 3 years.
Well, since it's a larger sum, and it can be stretched out over the length of the term of the property, the project, and since the road has a 20-year lifespan, I could extend it 7 or 10 years, so I chose 7 years.
Patricia, can you come here, please? This is all of Camden, right? So show me on this map, the blocks that you've got enough signatures.
For 4 lots, $1,200 a year for the next 7 years. So that's roughly, if we don't do a different assessment, like 3.5 assessment that's made for this payment. That's for everybody, not us. Why the heck don't we
So
show
if I did the math, 8, 66% of 8 is fine, but the county said it's 5.28. And I was looking at the number, but there they couldn't come up. So I need 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. To pay by this.
So that would be this area here. That would be paid.
Right, and this is the power line.
So this is Williams. Yeah, we need to make sure, okay, now what are the other sections that you've got enough votes for?
Well, I can't, they can do their own MSBU. See, I can't
Okay, so
be
right
their
there,
speaker.
so you're looking here.
Just, yeah, there's,
Just make that.
this whole section here, yes. And that's 100%.
So this section, so they.
Will the county do that in sections like that?
That's what she's saying.
They have already.
Yeah, so what
Well,
about
no,
this
they
section
didn't.
here?
There's a not enough percentage.
The county wants to tie it, it's supposed to break it apart.
And then
Is it
down
like
here,
This one,
It's like right there. That's the.
and then, and that doesn't have any of your parcels on it. They have to personally do their own MSBU.
And see, if you look at these.
And then this one down here,
Tax burden shows. They're all due,
so that's another 8.
but that's the.
so with this,
Okay,
this,
so this one, they need your,
Right,
okay, so
Water vote.
this is Williams.
But.
that's,
and
no,
then
yeah, that's a
the
Williams.
last-
No, is that Williams or yours?
You said these, we
Oh,
hold
okay.
trust, so that would be a Williams.
Okay.
Okay, so if you had this one, then that
This
would be
one's
enough for
actually
this section.
it's in the conservation
Is that
trust.
right?
Yes, but that would be a separate MSBU, and they may address your roads.
Now, what are the areas, so this here is all dirt, and this one is paved?
Yes.
Yeah, there's one section that's been.
So this, they may come to you as a separate MSBU next
I looked at some of them
January,
like that.
and ask for your one vote.
All right, then what I propose to do is, because you've got these, so these aren't gonna go away, anytime, your yeses aren't. I need to get with Borderline, our attorney, who has dealt with the Williams and the trust and all this, and see where we are with this. Because from my understanding, he owes this, the Williams do, because they pay the property taxes on this. So if they are the ones that do that, because that assessment is tied to the property tax bill. So let me contact them and see what the status is regarding, us, the MSBU, and Williams.
Yeah, this is what
Can we do that?
they have to do.
Can
This
we agree to
one's
that?
taxed.
Okay, and then I would have to also ask about this one.
That will be next year's MSBU. I can't.
So what is the deadline for this year's MSBU?
March 24th.
March
I mean, 23rd, 24th.
What is our architectural meeting?
First and third Tuesday? Oh,
Ours is the
Thursday?
last Thursday.
So it's after the
31st? No, 24th.
and this is, you have to have this on the
You
23rd?
can call a special meeting for that if you need to.
Yes, I know, Tim. Thank you.
And we received them on the 24th, so it's not carried over.
So it's been received by the. All right, well, let me, before, I'm not gonna call a special meeting right now, because I need to get with John Bordelon and find out what the thing is, and then we can get together and decide that, because I don't wanna do a meeting now and then have to reschedule it. So let me get with him, I'll call him in the morning.
But answer my question, when you look up this parcel, and you are the trustee, Legacy is a trustee.
I know, and it's a relationship that's really hard to explain, but we don't, when it's in his name and he gets the property taxes, we don't, it's not one of those like, we own them outright. So I need to get what that relationship is to determine who would be responsible for that.
But the
If-
property's not under his name.
Parks and Rec.
Well, if it's Williams, then it
No,
is.
it's
It's in conservation
Parcel,
for us.
parcel.
Yes,
Description.
I know that's how it, when you just look at it, that's how it seems, but we just need to be clear about this before we vote on it, okay? And then we can have it, and the same with here, and then we'll know for next year. But then we can call a special meeting and decide then. Can we do that
Yes,
before the 24th?
yes.
Okay, all right. Is that a good balance right now?
Yes, I mean,
That's just that one section.
Yeah, it would just be that one, so that would be 3,
and this person is on this side. And you know that person.
yes. So for this here, what would the yearly assessment be?
3-3.
Would that stay the same, or was that the other assessment based on the total, the entire road?
It did a rough, the budget manager did a rough, divided 60 parcels by the thing, and it's a penny cheaper.
Now, we're looking at this as two separate lots. But
Four lots.
actually, these are just two tracks listed with the assessor's office.
No,
But-
what she's looking at is doing, she's got, for this block here, and this is where she lives, she's got enough, minus, if we were to, if this was a homeowner and they said yes, she'd have enough to do this section. Same here. If this was a homeowner and they said yes, there'd be enough to do that section, okay? This is paved, so that if it went through, this would be paved, unpaved, paved, unpaved, and then paved. Now, these people have it over here, there's enough, but then they can do their own MSB, because they can just do the 4. So I need to get in touch with Holley to determine this. And these are idiots. So that's what we're gonna do, and then we can call, once we find out, to get clarification as to who would have to sign that.
Yeah, because we're not getting taxed on it.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
And this one he's speaking of, even though it's on there as 2 parcels, office and budget committee, considers that 4 parcels. Even though it looks like 2, it's equally divided.
So, is the board okay with finding out the status and then coming
Yeah,
back?
I mean, that's
Okay.
pretty much where we were at. We were just pending further information.
Well, she was,
Well,
but see,
what
we
we
were,
had previously was obligating us to pay that.
yeah, and it was the entire stretch, and I knew that they were these, so this makes it,
And the 9 votes I'm lacking, my vote from Puerto Rico came in a week and a half ago. And this is my second mailing to these out of state, out of the country. They have not come back returned. I've sent them, I spent some money to send it, so more
because
than.
you did return postage as well.
Yeah, so I spent $7, $8 to send them to France, England, Japan, Texas, so, they have been received, I think, just want to
Well, let us find out what the status is with us and our relationship with us as the association, and then we'll.
And then with the future, I'm sure this could happen soon.
Well, yeah.
And that could happen
Yeah.
soon.
So, I mean, these are 2 that we're gonna.
And those are people that, are yes, and you don't have to twist their arm again, so I'm sure they would like to team together and get them to pay.
Alright. Do we need a motion for that?
Well, the motion that we have was satisfied by just carrying it over to 9. I mean, if we're just gonna exploratory information, so we don't have to vote on after the information. We'll just vote to
And that was part of the motion.
Okay.
So no action.
Yes, Ben?
Just out of curiosity, can you give a synopsis of why you own property on Camden Road or any place in Holley by the Sea?
It goes back to it's one of those where, it is, the Williams had quite a bit of, property. Sandy could probably explain it.
It has to do with mitigation.
And mitigation, and then we are like a trustee. So for example, the property that was just recently mitigated by Publix, that was something that the Williams had, but they can't do anything with that unless we agree and as the association say, yes, you can go ahead and mitigate that type of thing. So that's what it is.
There's a video on Holley by the Sea news channel on YouTube.
Yeah, the process is once the property that's owned by Belly Williams, that we're trustees for, once it is sold at the closing table, the builder or whoever is buying the lot from him for mitigation, at that closing, they turn around and they sign that property over to Holley by the Sea, and at that point, Holley by the Sea becomes the 100% owner of that, and it's placed into a conservation trust.
I was here when we had the lawyer and the one good thing we got from Ms. Crawford was that.
Yeah.
Well, he's been the lawyer for this, situation.
So that's the reason all those lots on Camden we're trustees for them, and there are 2 parcels that are already in conservation.
But we're looking at whether or not we want to allow $2,100 be put forward on a vote from the board, which I can understand.
And we're not sure if it's even our debt. If it goes back to Belly Williams, who's paying the taxes or not paying the taxes, or if that, as trustees, if it comes to us. So we're still trying, a little gray on that one ourselves.
We may not be entitled to a vote.
Yeah, so that's something that we have to find out. I forgot to add on the usage one.
What?
The usage. And I forgot to add.
Let's make a motion on the agenda.
Okay, I apologize, I forgot to add the usage policies, so I make a motion to add as item 9. Okay, the usage policy. We need to remove that part. All right, so, Pete Peterson had recently attended.
I second the motion.
Oh, yes.
Oh, did you already move?
Yes, there's no action on it, because we need to, because it had been tabled pending, or postponed pending further information, so.
Can you, provide the community of Camden with a yes vote for the 4 parcels? You own, if it comes to, you cannot provide a yes vote for the Williams parcel.
When we cross that bridge and we get there, so take one step at a time.
Okay. August 24th.
We need a vote on amending the agenda.
All right, all in favor of amending the agenda to add the usage policy?
Point of order, time to take care of the agenda is when the agenda is.
We can amend an agenda at any point. Until the meeting is adjourned, and as long as the board agrees to it, then it's in both sides.
I believe that's why we had a problem last year.
This was an item that was brought up on Tuesday in public forum, something was brought to our attention, and so we need to take care of it tonight. To be responsive to members and to providing a fair usage policy. All right, so item J with the UPA, I spoke to Pete Peterson, went to the last United Peninsula Association UPA meeting, and Don Richards had asked him or talked to him about possibly having someone from Holley by the Sea. I spoke to Don Richards today, and he said that he would love to have someone on, and he spoke to me about being on the board. They meet once a quarter to discuss issues that are relevant. He thinks that Holley by the Sea would be having someone from Holley by the Sea, given the stormwater and all the issues that we address. So
I make a motion to nominate Don Harper to the
Second.
you're not gonna let me finish my spiel?
No, let's move on.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, the usage policy, I have to admit, I don't know if you noticed it, but I told April, just admit that I felt like a complete idiot after John came to me at the end, and the section on the usage policy at the very end, I have carefully read this general and unconditional release, fully understand its terms, I understand that I give up substantial rights by signing it. For whatever reason, everybody who read it missed it. And he came and including the attorney. So I do not agree with this at all. I don't think any member who uses the facility should ever give up substantial rights. The general and unconditional release, I think that is fine, because it just simply states that when a member comes to use the facility, you know, that they are kind of aware of their surroundings, and if something is broken, they bring it to the attention of the general manager. If they know that a piece of equipment is broken, they don't get on it. But if it's just a member who sets the treadmill at 10 miles an hour and thinks that they can walk and then falls on it, that's, you know, and obviously a person can sue, and if the judgment for them, then
We're looking to eliminate that piece.
yes. So I make a motion to delete I have carefully read this general and unconditional release. I fully understand its terms. I understand that I give up substantial rights by signing it. I sign it without any promises or guarantee being made to me, and I intend my signature to be complete. And unconditional release, to remove that from the usage form and to make it retroactive to when this was approved.
Second.
Right. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Okay. Yes, you do. God love ya. Okay. That includes all the agenda items, open forum.
Tim Carson, 264 Moray Drive. Going back to the announcement that was sent out, is that an annual meeting or is that a special meeting?
The April 9th?
Yes.
That's a special meeting that has to do with the covenants.
No, it says,
It's a members meeting that has to do with the covenants.
I would request somebody
get the thing because it says special meeting at the top, and then this is announcement for annual meeting in the subject line.
In the subject line.
Yes.
Do you have it?
Hold on.
So at the header says it's a special meeting, but the subject line says this is announcement for an annual meeting.
In the subject, in the email that went out?
No, what you sent out, what I pulled out, what you all were packing here the other day, it says that is an annual meeting in the subject line.
Well, it's not an annual meeting, and it's the special meeting stated as
I'm
August
just-
9th for the purposes of the,
I am bringing it to the board's attention, just like somebody else brought the other issues to the board's attention, that you might have to take some action because there are legal ramifications for things that are sent out and announcements that are made. I want to make sure that when this meeting is held, nobody can contest it. That's number one. You need a timer? Okay.
well, as long as you're polite, I'm not going to see one.
Number two, there's a Zika outbreak going on around here.
All right, when you say it's Zika outbreak around here, please clarify. What is around here?
Zika outbreak is
I know what a Zika outbreak is. I know what it means. When you say around here, we're talking about San Francisco County, Canby County, Panhandle.
Ms. Harper, a minute ago you said, can I speak? So let me,
No, I'm just trying to.
you're not allowing me to answer your
I
question.
just need clarification.
It has been confirmed that Santa Rosa County has Zika.
Yes.
All right, there have been cases of the Zika. It's carried by mosquitoes. We have several areas around our facility that will allow mosquitoes, that provide harbors for mosquitoes. What I would recommend, as somebody who's done pest control in the past, is we get some people here that have, be it Mosquito Joe or some other companies, to go ahead and look at the different areas we have, so that we make sure that we get a mosquito abatement policies and procedures in place, so that we, like this area right out here, right as you come out the bathroom, with that plant that's right over there, that's one area that you could, mosquitoes would be able to get, you could put some Talstar P underneath, get sprayed underneath the leaves and stuff like that with the right equipment, and that'll be reapplied every 30 days, you're fine. Down by the tennis courts, there's several areas because the sprinklers are not sprinkling properly, and they're not being adjusted properly. There's puddles being formed and staying there. So those need to be properly treated so that we don't get mosquitoes in there. Plus we have the retention areas that would need mosquito abatement in it as well. So I would recommend that we get some estimates on what it would cost to take care of those things, and there are times when we need to spend money and, we have to pay it. But what I'm concerned about.
Well, let me, I think this was brought up at a county push meeting, and if I recall correctly, and I need to find out, because the type of mosquito that carries the Zika virus is not the mosquitoes that you find in large areas like the holding ponds. It's more like the smaller, like around your plants and things like that. So we definitely need to find out like their breeding ground and get more information and then act accordingly. So thank you.
I'm just bringing it forward because we want to take action before we have a problem, I believe. And now is the time to do it before mosquitoes start becoming
Absolutely.
prevalent.
Thank you.
There's also a blue pail that seems to be moving around from underneath a blue chemical bucket that was underneath the sign down there by the tennis court. Now it's up here by this building, by the old tennis court. I've been watching this thing move around for weeks, excuse me, and wondering why it's still there.
Well, this is the first I've heard about it.
If a person is walking around the grounds, they'll be able to see it. It's not hard to find. Also, I'm not sure why we are thinking, I really need the association to wake up. Time for a picture.
Okay.
Really need the association to wake up. Because we're talking about spending money. I want the board to hear it. I got yelled at this year because the assessment went up. And I stood up for you guys when the assessment went up. I said, it's probably because of other problems. I'm very concerned that we are spending money that we don't need to spend. We need to spend money wisely, maybe for mosquito control, but to put up stuff, put up a mosquito, a cover over the kids' pool. Be responsible with your kids.
So,
I mean,
So
What,
if I-
what's wrong with the deck? Why do we have to change the pool deck?
Let me address the pool deck and the shade. The pool deck is not solid because of the putting up and the taking down of the pool dome. Okay, so that has created an area of concrete that needs to be replaced. As far as the shading, I have children, and yes, it's something that we can provide for the members, okay? We're gonna see how much it is. Sales. So we're not, so when you say we're spending money on things that we don't need to spend money on, I'm not sure what you're talking about, so that's why I would like specifics.
Well, when we're talking, we had an email exchange not long ago about the tennis court lights. And all it started with was, hey, the tennis court lights need to adjust the timer for the whole facility. Daylight has changed. Please make sure the maintenance knows to change the lights on Sunday, because everything's gonna go different, because there's gonna be a change. But one of the issues I brought up, because it seemed like what was being said is that the tennis court lights need to be left on. And I don't know why it went that way, but I came up and I found out that each one of those lights burns 1,000 watts per hour, kilowatt per hour. That's just the light, that doesn't include the ballast. Did an estimate, it came up to be about $7,500 if the lights were left on all the time out there per year. And your response to me is it's a minuscule percentage of the total electric bill paid for the recreation center.
And I'm also sure if you read the rest of that transcript, if you wanna just take out that, that's fine. But April did say that she would adjust them so that they're not on, all of the lights are on at the same time. She would look at the timer to ensure that it's accurate and that it comes on only as needed. So every issue that you've brought up has been addressed and adjustments have been made. I understand they're not made to your specifications, but they have been made. And if you look out there now, I don't think every single court light is on.
I believe you'll find that they're all off.
Yes.
You interrupted me, I
So-
figured we could have the conversation going on.
The point is, you brought up an issue, it was addressed. Adjustments were made accordingly.
Now, why, the issue here though is that you said $7,500 if the lights were left on. That would be an additional cost because we turn the lights off. Now, the board approved that the people who use the signs of the tennis court lights turn them off. They're not being arbitrarily turned off. I asked you in this email, are they arbitrarily being turned off? You said no, that's not the issue.
If you're gonna read that email, then I suggest you start from the beginning and go all the way.
I'm not reading the whole
What-
email.
What April said to you is you turned the light off. She requested that
No, I told her that I turned the lights off.
I think that's what I just said. She asked that you not turn the lights off, okay? She has addressed this. She has adjusted it. And when I said 7,500 is minuscule, I am not downplaying or minimizing the cost to the association. Okay?
Sounds to me like you are.
And I am not minimizing ways to save, because we discussed this and she has taken action to minimize the cost and to adjust the lights, not only for the players, but for the safety of staff. And if you go out there now, not all the lights are on. So I know it's not 100% the way you want, but it's a good balance.
Mrs. Harper, it's
Yes,
not what I
Mr.
want.
Marston.
It's not what I want. It's the way it's always been in the rules. Oh, I had to point out to you that I don't know why the general manager didn't point out to you that previous boards said turn off their lights when you're done. It wasn't come up here to this area.
Let me just say
Oh, the
that-
bottom line is you go down there and you read the sign down there and it tells you to turn off the lights. You want me to read what the sign says? But that's not the issue. The issue is you told me that was a minuscule percentage, and I am very concerned that you're willing to
Please read the
waste.
context, the entire, if you're gonna read one sentence, then read the entire email thread.
This is your,
No, no, no.
this
That's
is,
been
Tim,
addressed.
you have to start at the very beginning. You're not just gonna pull out one email in a thread of emails.
thank you for
because that
breaking
will not
down the
be
cost
fair.
as you determined by speaking with the past maintenance manager.
Okay,
However,
now-
the
okay, now-
74,
Now I'm going to call
400
point of order in time.
There's no
I am-
timer.
I
You
am
state,
going,
but
I
you
am,
state,
you
but
are,
a minuscule
you
percentage
are out
of the
of
total.
order.
I
I'm
heard
going,
what-
Tim, I
the
can
total
adjourn the
electric bill
meeting.
paid for the recreation
Okay,
center.
I make a
Again, as I
motion to
stressed
adjourn the
before, the
meeting.
GM knows this on his
I make a
attendant
motion
to
to
minimize
adjourn-
costs and ensuring life
Second.
sustainability.
All in favor?
Now
Aye.
you're showing your ass.